name is Katherine King and I'm with the University of Utah. Today for our lunchtime learning, we're going to be reading a book called The Doorbell Rang. And then after, we'll be doing a craft that will help us with our fractions. The Doorbell Rang by Pat Hutchins. "I've made some cookies for tea," said Ma. "Good," said Victoria and Sam. "We're starving." "Share them between yourselves," said Ma. "I made plenty." "That's 6 each," said Sam and Victoria. "They look as good as Grandma's," said Victoria. "They smell as good as Grandma's," said Sam. "No one makes cookies like Grandma," said Ma as the doorbell rang. It was Tom and Hannah from next door. "Come in," said Ma. "You can share the cookies." "That's 3 each," said Sam and Victoria. "They smell as good as your Grandma's," said Tom. "And look as good," said Hannah. "No one makes cookies like Grandma," said Ma as the doorbell rang. It was Peter and his little brother. "Come in," said Ma. "You can share the cookies." "That's 2 each," said Victoria and Sam. "They look as good as your Grandma's," said Peter, "and smell as good." "Nobody makes cookies like Grandma," said Ma as the doorbell rang. It was Joy and Simon with their 4 cousins. "Come in," said Ma. "You can share the cookies." "That's 1 each," said Sam and Victoria. "They smell as good as your Grandma's," said Joy, "and look as good," said Simon. "No one makes cookies like Grandma," said Ma as the doorbell rang. And rang. "Oh dear," said Ma as the children stared at the cookies on their plates. "Perhaps you'd better eat them before we open the door." "We'll wait," said Sam. It was Grandma with an enormous tray of cookies. "How nice to have so many friends to share them with," said Grandma. "It's a good thing I made a lot." "And no one makes cookies like Grandma," said Ma as the doorbell rang. Now this book teaches us a lot about division, but what would have happened if Grandma hadn't brought any more cookies over? We would have to split our single cookie, right? So then we'd be going into fractions. So for our activity, we're now going to be making fraction manipulatives to help us with our fractions. Okay, so for the activity, you're going to need cardstock, a ruler, colored pencils, and then a pair of scissors, and then also something round to trace with. I'm using a candle lid, but you can use whatever you want. Then using your round object, we're going to trace 6 circles onto our cardstock. So once you've traced all your 6 circles, we're now going to color them in. So these are we want them to look like cookies. I'm going to do chocolate chip cookies, just like the book, but you can do whatever cookies you want. So feel free to color them however you want. Okay, so once you've colored them all in, we're now just going to take our scissors and cut them out. Now that we have these all cut out, we're going to turn them into fraction manipulatives. So we're going to set one aside for 1 whole. And then the rest of them, we're going to have 1 for 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, and 1/6. Okay, so for our 1/2 piece, we're going to find the middle. We're going to measure across and find the middle of it. And make a mark. And then come up here and make a line going halfway down. Okay, so for our 1/3, we're going to find the halfway point, which is right here. And then also find the halfway point this way, which is right there. And then you're going to draw your line from the top, coming down to the center. And then we're going to connect and make a Y coming out this way, and make sure your pieces are as even as you can get them. so for our 1/4, we're gonna make a line down the middle like we did with the 1/2. And then we're gonna measure halfway. You can see I already did it, but I'll show you. That's halfway, and we're gonna make a line going this way. For the 1/5, I already found my center mark, so you'll need to do that. And then we're gonna take from the center, we're gonna come up here and make a line to our center mark. Then we're gonna make more lines. We're gonna make kind of like a star shape. One coming out here, this way, and then down and down. So 4 more lines to draw. For the 1/6, we're gonna measure halfway through. We're gonna find our center point. Be about there. Okay. We're gonna draw one line. Going down. So that's our center point, and now we're gonna make an X this way and an X this way. Okay, and now we're just gonna cut them out. Now that we've cut them all out, we can go ahead and label them. So like this one, I'll label 1/2. I'll label my 1/2, 1/4. So you can go ahead and label all of those. Once you've gone ahead and labeled all of them, you can now use them to understand fractions. So like in our story, if we had 1 whole cookie and we needed to split it between 2 people, we would now understand that we need to split it into halves. All right, everybody, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed and now understand a little bit more about fractions.